I am convinced that Saints Row fans just want this new reboot to fail. I just checked the like to dislike ratio on the announcement trailer, and I am shocked to see that it has 39,000 more dislikes than likes. I thought this trailer was fantastic 8 months ago, and I could not wait for more. I really don't get why so many people don't like this game. Gat, Shawnee, and Pierce are not coming back. Volition ruined the story of the old series, so there's no point in trying again with those characters because everyone would cry and complain and say they want Saints Row 2 back and that they want a serious game again. I loved what I saw watching the pre-alpha gameplay. The biggest issue I saw from the gameplay trailer was how clunky the HUD is. The map and objective board are way too big. The highlights around the enemies and the health bars are just unnecessary. I really don't think the enemies are bullet spongy enough for the need for health bars, but I really did enjoy watching both the on-foot combat and vehicle combat. It looks like they blurred the line between realistic and arcadey style of driving, and I love that because SR3 and SR4 both felt like they had unpolished driving physics. I can only assume that because this is pre-alpha footage, the entire HUD has been revamped into something more polished, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like in the final version. Putting the millennial paying off student loan story idea behind Volition, I think the story will be dope. From what we know, it's incredibly basic like all the other Saints Row games, excluding 4 because what even was that? The rundown is that you just build up the new Saints and claim territories all around the city. If you watched 1 or 2 videos on the game, you would find that 3 of the 4 characters are gang related in some way before the game even starts, and they aren't just a bunch of random people wanting to form a gang. Nino worked as a mechanic for the Los Panteros. Kevin was already a member of the Icons, that's why he wears the Watchdogs helmet. Eli relocated to Santo Ileso to make money in any way he could, and the boss worked for Marshall Defense Industries. I've seen a lot of people complain about how the side characters look and how they just aren't gangster looking enough, but I would argue that that's just how people dressed back in the 2000s. When you compare 2000 streetwear to 2020 streetwear, the two look completely different. The streetwear of the 2000s was mostly made up of vintage clothes, baggy jeans, oversized hoodies, and retro sportswear, whereas the streetwear of the 2020s is mostly made up of techwear and hypebeast type clothing. I'm just saying people don't dress like that anymore, so why try and go for that style in a game that's probably set in the 2020s? I will agree with the fact that Eli looks like Steve Urkel and he desperately needs a redesign, which is irrelevant given that Volition stated that the side character designs will not be changed, but for the other two, I just don't see the issue. Kevin, the shirtless dude with the Watchdogs helmet, looks great. For some reason, people think it's weird that Kevin's shirtless in the game, but then we have Zemos from SR3. He's literally in a BDSM club with a ball gag in his mouth, and he speaks in autotune when you meet him.
Or just look for the guy with a rhinestone Z on his back.
Fuck out of here, man. Oh, well, shit, that's convenient.
They went this way.
Shit. We don't got time, Zemos. Mush!
And then there's Nina, the better Lynn, except Nina isn't wearing a crop top with her tits out, so she's not gangster enough, I guess. Maybe I simply misunderstood the argument. I'm not sure if it's because I'm late to the old school SR style, as my first one was SR3, but I'm not used to the Saints looking like gangsters, and I'm instead used to this all the time. Another argument that I've seen everywhere about why the reboot characters are ultimately horrible is that they're just young millennials at the start of the game. Well, Johnny Gat, your favorite character in the entire series, was born in the 80s, making him a millennial, and he was 26 in SR1, which is a young age. So you saying that the characters are bad because they're young is stupid because the characters you love and adore so much were also young in their first game. The last thing I want to talk about is the people complaining that the customization is just too goofy for them. Let's face it, Volition is nailing the new customization. They have realistic gangster street clothes like SR2, as well as goofy ass clothes like 3 and 4. You can choose not to wear the wacky and wild clothes, so why complain when it's literally an optional thing? Not surprisingly, this is actually the least disliked thing so far. Sure, there are a few people on Twitter and in YouTube comments complaining that every piece of the clothing isn't the authentic gangster style or that the guns are whack, which I'm pretty sure people are referring to the gun skins and why they should not be included. But as I previously stated, everything is completely optional. If you don't like the guitar case RPG or the foam finger pistols, don't use them. I believe that those who played Saints Row 1 and 2 are just looking for the wrong thing now, and they're super upset that they aren't getting an old school serious gangster game, even though the style of the game has been switched up to a more silly, wacky style since 2011. Just go play GTA. Volition took a turn to go more crazy with 3, and it looks like that's the road they're taking with this one too, except they're just taking it down a notch because it just wouldn't work in today's world. Jim Boone, the chief creative officer at Volition, even stated that the previous titles were too much for today's social world, and that's the main reason why SR5 doesn't exist, and the series is getting a complete reboot. This video is about done. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I don't know if I'll ever upload something like this ever again, but I'd love to hear some counter arguments to my counter arguments. Remember, it ain't that deep, and peace out.
Don't ask me why.